How do we close the file in the finally block? In the current program, we actually close the file from the try block. So let's try to close that from the finally block. This is actually good because it will always be closed if an exception is thrown and it didn't get the chance to close the file. So we want to actually close the file in the finally block. So I'll relocate that block of code and paste it in here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is this object was actually declared within the scope of the try block. So it's not really within scope in this finally block. So we need to make sure we declare this before the try block. So let's do that right here. So we'll just set it to null basically initially. So let's just save and run it. Okay, so it's running nicely, but only thing is we want to keep in mind is what if the file doesn't exist? We might run into a problem because if the file doesn't exist, this is set to null. When the exception is thrown here, that value would be null. And then when we try to close an object that is set to null, we will run into a null reference exception. So let's see how that works. So we've run into the null reference exception. So the fix is also simple. We only want to close the file if the read from file object is not equal to null. Okay, so only in that situation or in that particular condition, we want to close the object. Otherwise, it's already set to null. There's no need to close it off since the file wasn't opened anyway. So now it just gives me that message that says file does not exist. I hope this was helpful to you, and I'll see you in the next one.